There's several simple things that you can do to make a front stage engagement more compelling. Let's start with some basics. First of all, just dropping the agenda into the chat when you begin the meeting is one way to start the engagement, right? So by having an agenda in the chat that everybody can see, now everyone's oriented to what the agenda is. And now in a perfect world, you sent out the agenda also in advance so that people understand what to expect and they have a chance to add something to the agenda if that's important to them. The reason the agenda is so powerful is because it allows you to manage the meeting as the facilitator, or what McKinsey, the consulting firm, calls the orchestrator. If we go back to that story in Mastering Virtual Selling of Maestro Ben Zander, remember, he is the orchestrator, if you will. He is the conductor of the orchestra. And interestingly, in that role, he doesn't play any instrument himself. All he does is pull in all of the different subject matter experts, which in his case are musicians, to be able to make this great music. He is orchestrating it. In the same way, what McKinsey says is the very best salespeople are proficient at the skill of orchestration. And that means being able to pay close attention to how are people reacting on the communication of Zoom, being able to call people by name. One of the other techniques we talk about is the concept called targeted polling. And in targeted polling, that's where I might say your name, and if your name's John, I might say, and John, I'll be coming to you next to ask for your feedback on this. And now what's happening is I'm engaging the audience by calling them by name. I'm also pulling them in to the conversation. So there's a number of different things that really matter in terms of getting good at this that we talk about in the book. And the ability to be proficient on different platforms also matters. Because if you're used to using Zoom and your customer requires, their company requires them to use Teams, it doesn't work to say, well, I'm sorry, I don't know how to use Teams. I only know how to use Zoom. You have to be proficient at all of them. And there's really only 3 or 4 that matter that we outline in the book. And to the extent you can figure those out, it really allows you to bring this confidence to the meeting to be able to create a great experience and be able to capture the most important elements, what we call the moments that matter in that front stage presentation, and then be able to reuse them in what we call backstage. So if you think about it, if you record the meeting in Zoom, there may have been, say, 4 or 5 moments that matter where they said something important or they asked an important question. And your ability to be able to take that information and be able to then add it to the follow-up in what we call a DSR, or a digital solution room, really sets you apart.